Joining us now is Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator, this is one of those moments that we have never before seen in the history of this country. Donald Trump getting his so-called Justice Department to try to prosecute members of Congress for publicly reciting the law. Not once in the history of this country has that ever happened.
Lawrence, this is a stunning development. It is really hard to overstate the significance of this, the assault, the frontal assault on the rule of law. The Justice Department under Pam Bondi, no doubt acting under the instructions of the President of the United States, sought to indict 6 members of Congress for exercising their First Amendment rights, for serving their constituents, for upholding their responsibility as representatives. They sought to indict 6 members of Congress. It is just such a shock to see the rule of law so betrayed, so utterly betrayed. If we look at this period in the future and the milestones on the road to dictatorship, this is a big one to consider how this Justice Department has been misused, how it's been weaponized in such a blatant fashion. And the fact that the grand jury rejected it, of course, is very significant because that's so unusual. But it shouldn't dissuade us or fail to have us appreciate the lawlessness of what they tried to do. The fact it was unsuccessful, yes, should be applauded. The fact they tried, though, is a 5-alarm fire.
I want to read Senator Mark Kelly's response to this tonight. He said, "This is an outrageous abuse of power by Donald Trump and his lackeys. It wasn't enough for Pete Hegseth to censure me and threaten to demote me. Now it appears they tried to have me charged with a crime, all because of something I said that they didn't like. That's not the way things work in America. Donald Trump wants every American to be too scared to speak out against him. The most patriotic thing any of us can do is not back down." Senator, it also seems one of the patriotic things we can do is not shirk our duty to serve when called for jury duty. That grand jury in Washington, D.C. stood up for the Constitution.
They sure did, and they've done so now time and time again with this lawless administration. But I applaud Mark Kelly for his statement, and Alyssa Slotkin and Jason Crow. Basically what they're saying, what I'm saying, what all of us are saying that are sort of in the crosshairs of this Department of Injustice is basically screw you. We're not going to stop for one moment speaking out. We're going to do our job as representatives, no matter what you throw our way. And I think we all have to do this. Members of Congress certainly, but universities need to push back. Law firms need to push back. Companies need to push back. While we still have a democracy, none of us can hide. We all have to tell the administration they can buzz off, they can screw off. Screw them. We're not going to give in to this kind of despotism because this is such a serious threat to our democracy. And I know we've seen a lot of them and we can get numb to it. But what we have just witnessed today is just a full-on assault on our free speech rights and the right of Americans to be represented in Congress by their chosen representatives and not to have the administration weaponize the Justice Department to try to remove them from office.
Senator Mark Kelly calls the people in the Justice Department who did this Donald Trump's lackeys. That's a kind word for what's happening in that Justice Department, where they are very eager to follow Donald Trump's illegal orders. Going back to your experience working in that Justice Department as a federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, what would you have done if they came to you and said, we want you to present this to a grand jury to get an indictment against these members of Congress for reciting the law?
I would have said, hell no, I quit. And it's telling that the only person apparently on this indictment willing to submit this is Pirro, the U.S. attorney herself. None of the career people evidently wanted their names on this. And they understand that what they've been asked to do and seek an indictment on a fraudulent basis like this is a violation of their code of ethics. It's probably a violation of their ethical standards under the Bar Association. It may be worse than that. And they don't want to be tarred by this the way Pirro will be tarred forever by this. But Bondi, Blanche, Pirro, all of these people in the Justice Department, I know they won't, but they should be completely ashamed of themselves. It's just disgraceful conduct. And I think any prosecutor asked to bring baseless cases like this needs to do their civic duty and say, I won't do it, and be willing to be fired or to quit. Because, you know, we all need to show that courage that the grand jury showed and that others have demonstrated in standing up to this president who wants to be a dictator.
And it seems to be the same kind of cowardice that led to that raid on the Fulton County voting records. The FBI, for the first time in history, going in and seizing voting records. All those people you see marching in there in their FBI uniforms, following those orders, they're also in a position to say no.
They are, and we have seen some of the top leadership at the FBI be fired or quit because they're upholding their ethical duty. They're not willing to fire prosecutors who worked on legitimate cases. They're not willing to dismiss or seek the dismissal of valid cases like the case involving the mayor of New York who's charged with corruption. You're seeing prosecutors and FBI agents quit rather than do unethical or unlawful things. You're seeing the head of CDC do the same thing. You're seeing countless examples of courage, and frankly, those examples should inspire all the rest of us. We should look to them, not look to these who are betraying our laws, our institutions. You know, the Bondis and the Blanches, they're the betrayers, but there are some really courageous people that are saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I would rather quit or be fired than go along with such an egregious abuse of power.
Senator Adam Schiff, thank you very much for joining us tonight on this Breaking News.
Thanks, Lawrence.